You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. Wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Welcome to the Thursday stream. It is Friday Junior, folks. Welcome, everybody. I hope everyone's doing okay. Derry Bennett, Quad Bennett, Moanep, welcome. Yes, I did see James Carter Cathcart, the voice of Meowth, and the voice of James from Pokemon has passed. And that one kind of hits a little bit home because that is my childhood, and that was a very big part of my childhood, I should say. And I'll never forget the first Pokemon movie, that had a lot of influence on who I am today. And I guess no better example Michael Hasser, welcome. No better example than to play this this banger. This one right here.
But how can I trust you? You was going different. I almost made a clawful mistake. But how do I know you're not gonna pull a fast one on me? You're right. We do have a lot in common. The same earth, the same air, the same sky. Maybe if we started looking at what's the same instead of always looking at what's different, well, who knows?
Exactly. Etchbox, welcome. Learned the same lesson from Linus and Charlie Brown because he's old. Good evening. Something about that just hits pretty hard. He says football pool is timeless. Is especially like the lesson here, right? Because the first part of the quote is, "But how can I trust you? You were born different." Lisa's football pool is timeless. Yeah. Uh. Before we get started, folks, today is going to be a bit of a slightly shorter stream. I gotta get out of here in a timely and orderly fashion to go to the store. Don't tell anyone, or I guess don't tell Mrs. Truth, but her birthday is in a couple days, so I know exactly what I'm getting. I always feel like a brother from another mother. We grew up different, but that's why it's fun. Indeed. All right, folks, let me get started. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for your likes, subs, shares. All of that makes a huge difference, by the way. It really does. Thank you. We are at 382 subs on YouTube, 2,623 followers on the Twitch. Can you believe that? You guys have made this possible. Thank you. If you want to support the channel directly, check out the merch store. Hit the exclamation mark tip. Substack. Join the Discord and join us on this space. It is a working class media collective. There's a variety. There's a plethora of different content from even from some big names that you might know, like the Humanist Report. That is actually live on with syndicated content. So check that out. There is something for everyone, folks. Yes, there is something for everyone. The other night, Andrea was doing her speed run of Crash Bandicoot. So I guarantee you, with such variety of content, there is something for everyone. So check it out, this space. Check out my show on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. I appreciate the support. Thank you, Michael Hassler. Let's get started, folks. Yeah, it was an epic game session. It was. What a treat. As someone who appreciates that. I'm not as skilled, okay, to do any of that at all. I love video games. And yeah, we've had extensive conversations on this stream. I love video games, but I don't have the kind of chops to do that kind of stuff. So mad respect to Andrea and her speedruns. She did Crash Bandicoot 1 and 2, I believe.
Dave Rubin, wasn't he on the Glenn Beck network for a while? The Blaze? Wasn't he on the Blaze for a while? And then what happened is Dave Rubin's audience found out he was gay and that he was adopting, or I shouldn't say surrogating. He wasn't the surrogate. He got a surrogate mom, he and his husband, and they had twins. And Glenn Beck's audience, in fact, much of Dave Rubin's audience, did not appreciate that because for a lot of right-wingers, that is extremely sinful. They should not be having children. And but here is a sweet homecoming where Dave hops onto the old Zoom thing with Glenn Beck and Glenn Beck's massive pulsating microphone.
that I think.
What are those dark clouds you just described, or the changes that are coming? What are they? Because you've been ahead of this stuff for years. I told you I used to watch you on Fox. I say it every time we do this, but I would watch you on Fox with that blackboard, and I thought this guy is half crazy, half brilliant, and half a showman. That's three halves, but there was a lot going on there.
You know,
right.
Incidentally,
Right.
And you were right about
at home. Dave Rubin is an idiot, and that's why there's three halves.
That's kind of a given, right? That's kind of a given. Kirkenstein's Monster, welcome.
Out of these things, and particularly as it pertained to what was going to happen to mainstream media and everything else. So what do you
And
see
not only that, I mean, if you look at what's happening with Mamdani, that is the chalkboard that I'm probably best known for.
Yeah.
The Islamist, the socialist, the communist.
Yeah, just launch all the words. I think it might have been 2 and 3, but it was really great either way. Oh, my bad. I might have gotten that one wrong. I know they were talking about the different Crash Bandicoots, so I may have gotten that one wrong. Renman Barry, welcome. I love MR. Emma's the best. She is.
The anarchists will work together first to destroy Israel, then to destabilize Europe and America, and to end the Western world.
True.
I was made fun of for
That's
that.
it.
For I don't
Pause it for 1 second.
But
Now-
if you look at
now,
I should have put a giant magnet.
Listen, what is the logic behind destroying Israel first?
What is the logic? Logic. What? Logic. What is a logic? Dave Rubin and Glenn Beck don't understand that. I saw Emma on MSNBC the other day.
Why wouldn't you destroy?
Was she a contributor? Wasn't she a contributor from MSNBC?
Why do you need to destroy?
Or at some point, I think she was before she was on TYT and then the Majority Report.
Israel protecting Europe and America? Why not destroy Europe and America first? Then,
yeah.
Who's going to protect Israel?
Well, it's because Israel is the one that's on the front lines of civilization. They're right there, right up
Gotcha, Kirkenstein.
against the Arab hordes. The
MSNBC.
only thing protecting
Nice.
them from them is the totally not apartheid border wall. And then after the zombies, I mean the Arabs, take over Israel, then they're coming for Europe and then eventually us.
I see.
It's the global south rising and doing white genocide. Although it's like these are the two dinosaurs in conservative media, because Tucker Carlson would put Israel last because the Jews are supposed to be orchestrating the Great Replacement theory. And this
Right.
is why these two guys don't have the clout that Tucker's got right now.
Interesting.
Of his face on that board today, because he is
He's
the
the thing,
poster
yeah.
child for that to happen. And I think we are in, that I hope that the future of the Democratic Party is not him, but I think it is, at least for a while, at least until they realize that is either not where America is, or until we realize, oh my God, that is what America is. But I think there's some real trouble. I mean, the blowback.
Well, have you seen
Go ahead.
any evidence that it's not the future of the Democrat Party? I mean, one of the lines that I love to quote from Jordan Peterson is he would always ask these Democrats,
brother.
when does the left go too far? And no one would ever give him a point. So it seems that the entropy, if nothing else, leads to this guy winning. Or if somehow he doesn't win, it's that the entropy will still go in that direction.
Or maybe it's just like a silly question to ask, and that's why no one is answering. Maybe Jordan Peterson is like a deeply unserious person. That really there's no point in answering that question because it's already baked in bad faith. Just got to that part in Death Stranding 2. Higgs is so effing cool. Is Death Stranding 2 already out? I was not aware of this. Holy crap, Death Stranding 2 has been out for a couple weeks now. And I've been putting off playing the first one. I mean, I've got such a backlog that I wasn't even thinking. I was like, oh, Death Stranding 2 is coming out in like somewhere in 2025. Like, I'll have time. More of the same, and that makes it perfect. Yeah, I heard lots of good things about Death Stranding. So yeah, that's one on the list. I've got Cyber. By the way, just FYI, I've never played Cyberpunk 2077, so I've also put that one on the list. The cutscenes are fantastic. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good to know, because I need a good story game, and that seems to have fit the bill. The soundtrack to the original is so damn good. I listen to it at least once a week. Nice.
Right. So let me ask you, Dave. I mean, this is why they mocked this board that I did is because they said the communists and the Islamists and the anarchists and the socialists, they don't have anything in common. What do they have in common? And I said, they have one thing in common: revolution. That's what they have in common. Destroy the.
What are you talking about? Like, socialist, anarchist, and communist. Like, they definitely have a lot in common. Top 10 favorite game, even got the platinum, and I don't do that very often. Be prepared for the movie at the end. I'm good with that. Give me all the good cutscenes. Kojima needs to seriously make movies, but they'd be so weird. They'd be so weird, but amazing.
West. And well, but they're not going to work together because they're all against each other. And I said, no, it's human nature. Everybody gets together and like, yeah, okay, well, let's bring him into the camp and we'll kill him or eat him, after we finish with these people. And that's exactly what's happening.
Wait a
second. The Democrats brought in, I said this when they...
Oh. Yeah. Now, Trump's in office. The Republicans are in this is what they need to do, right? We can't focus on being out of power. So now we have to create a boogeyman who lives amongst us like a cancer. And that, of course, is the Marxist, socialist, Islamicist, Sharia law.
Yeah, whatever. The usual isms that fascists like to put, right? Like, the first thing they do is name the opposition as part of the problem so they can take out the opposition, and then they go working their way towards the minority groups.
Anarchist. All the ists that we've told you are bad. DEI. Also, probably the return of CRT is going to come back. DEI, CRT, War on Christmas, all of it wrapped up in Zoran Mamdani.
Wow.
Good.
Michael Moore into the presidential box. What was that for? Was that for John Kerry? And I said, you can't, he's a socialist. You cannot bring him into the box. You can't do that, because once you open that door, you start to normalize all of that, and you think you're using them, but they're using you. They will gain power, and they
Yeah, we can't have the plebs normalizing concepts like healthcare. We can't have the plebs normalizing concepts like capitalism is not working, and the working class is being stomped on by the bourgeois. Because then they might start thinking maybe the power lies with the people. And that's a dangerous thought. cathode ray tubes and done experiencing inequity. I like that one.
Will eat you in the end. The reason why you're not seeing any pushback from people like Schumer and everything else is they're terrified of these guys.
Yeah.
Look at what happened in Minneapolis. What do you think that was? That was somebody who was willing to see reason and go, you know what? I really don't want to make this vote, but I have to because I think it's the right thing to do. And they kill her.
Yeah.
They are eating that party. And then once the
Wait, what?
I'm pretty sure he's doing that conspiracy theory about.
Whoa! Oh, is he saying that?
I think.
Is he saying that it was a Democrat? There was a left winger that killed that woman in
Yep.
Minnesota.
To me, that's what Twitter is. It's all over Twitter. That conspiracy theory
Yeah.
that was Tim Walz's friend and a Democratic operative who did the murdering.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
that's not what happened. The guy was once appointed to a small business panel that Tim Walz, as the governor, put together. Which, if people aren't aware of how a state government works, some of this stuff happens. It happens all the time. A weekly panel of business
Of course.
members. They don't look out for their politics. They don't care about their politics. It's absurd. And the guy was a Republican and a Trump supporter.
Yeah, I mean, to say that this is some kind of inside job that Tim Walz is involved in is absurd. It's ridiculous. I used to go to Cedar Point twice a year from the time I was 10 until my mid-20s. It got so expensive that we would just drive down from Michigan for the day and then back up that night. Then I ended up just not going at all. It's been 12 years. I know I'm telling you this, but capitalism sucks, dude. Yep. I completely understand.
100%.
Communists have eaten the Democrats, then the Islamists will eat the communists.
Is it remarkable to you that more of, let's just say, the generic kind of gender queer, progressive, wafy, whatever, don't realize that
wafy?
the Islam thing is not going to work? I think most people can, certainly people watching my show can watch you say that, and they understand why this intersectional thing can't hold. Too many competing interests, but okay, fine, we're all trying to take out the West first. But I'd really try
Pause
to
it
get
for
in
a
the
second.
average mind.
What is he talking about? I truly don't is this just one giant straw man? Because it seems to me these people are just making up arguments that aren't there. I remember paying $24 in the late 90s for all that. Man, those were times.
And is he now? This is where we should actually pay some attention to Dave Rubin, because he understands the dynamic of being gay and trying to be on an extremist religious network with Glenn Beck. I mean, he is speaking like he had to get booted off of the Blaze and had to do a lot of backfilling, and no longer will ever talk about, he's never going to talk about his kids on a show. He can't. I can't remind people for that. But I guess the big thing is, the thing that we've got to watch out for is the Islamists eating the communists.
Yeah.
That obviously,
But
it's also, incidentally, you're not supposed to eat people. I don't think that's
debatable.
Halal anyways, right? I mean, oh, okay.
I think tickets are around 50 now, and then that doesn't seem bad, but it's a 4-hour drive, and then you need food. Sheesh. In this economy?
So he's trying to say that Islam is not compatible with Western
Well, he's saying
values.
this intersectionality. That you can't have the intersectionality, and it's both. Zoran represents the too woke,
Yeah.
but also the too woke can't work. So despite the fact that Zoran has
You know, he went to Pride and was walking around with the trans Pride flag. That's all a ruse.
It's a ruse. And so Ruben is trying to protect the woke waifs from the hidden wolf in sheep's clothing that the Sharia law people represent. Okay,
but Ruben is based. So by contrast, he's talking about how woke Christianity is. Because
right, but like also like he would absolutely throw trans people in the camps too. But the real problem is Islam. Got it. Also, you have to wait like little hours in certain coasters. For instance, the new one, Siren Curse or whatever, is probably like a 2-hour wait. Yikes. The Fast Pass is $120. Nah, I'm good on that. I'm good on that.
He's allowed to hang out.
Well, I mean, not with
not in person or at his wedding or anything like that. But
both Ben Shapiro and
they'll talk to him.
Glenn Beck have basically said you're fine as long as you're at arm's length.
Incidentally, Israel just killed like 100 trans people in Iran, bombing a place that they were held at. The New York Times reported on that.
We're all trying to take out the West first. But I'd really try to get in the average mind of a queer for Palestine. Do they honestly, or is it just that their minds are so muddled now because of algorithms and everything else?
That's opposed to what you're trying to do, right? Modeling minds, playing the algorithm.
I really want to give people on both sides, Dave. I mean, I think we have morons on our side too. I should say that.
We'll get to those in a little bit.
We have people who are so algorithmed out that they can no longer see reality. And so I really feel bad, and I try to give these people
May I suggest a mirror? May I suggest a mirror? Conservatives cry over Epstein files. Yeah, I've seen the discourse. Apparently there's some kind of rift happening. Although I don't know how big that rift is, how much it's gonna matter. We'll see. Dave Rubin and Glenn Beck are such fine examples of clear minds. They really just don't get it, or they do and they just suck. I mean, I'll go with the second one, right? I mean, it's with Dave Rubin, it's kind of debatable, but like people like Glenn Beck, these people like literally just they're just terrible people.
The benefit of the doubt, but I just can't. I mean, you really have to be brain dead at this point as a homosexual to go, oh, I'm for Hamas. What are you thinking? They're going to kill you. You know what? You saw it in
yeah, I mean, like the issue here is that Hamas is not the one currently engaged in genocide. Like, the reason why people are taking umbrage with what's happening in Gaza is because there's a freaking genocide happening, okay? Being against genocide and being pro-humanity, despite not really agreeing, even if you don't agree with the religious fundamentalism that's happening, you can still be pro human life. You can still be anti genocide. So it's not so much like this is exactly why I'm saying like they're fighting with arguments that don't exist. You can simultaneously say like personally I don't know much about Hamas or what their political platform is, but I imagine it is of religious fundamentalism, and I'm not for that. I'm not going to support that. But I can also say at the same time, you know, the Palestinian people don't deserve to get wiped off the planet. I mean, like, it's really just that simple. I don't want the Palestinian people to get genocided. Ladybug, welcome. Sisfian Task, welcome.
In Egypt, remember when they all came and they were going to protest for Palestine?
Incredible.
The Egyptians know exactly who the Palestinians are and who the revolutionaries are. They don't know. Get out of our country.
Pause it for 1 second. Now, I will say this about the Israeli bombs that they drop on Palestinian tents and the weapons they fire at Palestinians who are coming to get food.
American made.
Completely bounce off any of the LGBTQ Palestinians. The bullets don't pierce their flesh.
And sometimes that doesn't. Is sometimes the force field, the gay force field fails. We've seen how that works in Star Wars and things like that. And when they do kill them, it's just like better for them to be dead than to live under Hamas.
Unironically, I've actually heard gross arguments like this. With regards to, I actually had an argument on Blue Sky with some clown that I don't know. I guess must have stumbled into Blue Sky and forgot that Twitter exists. Who was unironically saying that the bombing of the prison is good, and that actually it's Iran's fault for putting trans people in camps, but like the bombing was justified because bombing the camp was a way of taking away a tool of oppression from Iran, and therefore it is good. I just like some really, really ghoulish argument. It's like saying it's like saying to resolve a hostage situation, the proper approach is just to level the building because you got the bad guys. Never mind how many hostages and civilians are there, but at least you got the bad guys. So therefore it is fine. I'll bring up this tweet here. It has a Dune force field. The gymnastics to get there is incredible. Oh, yeah, no doubt. Because, like, I mean, there must be some kind of, like, disconnect with humanity.exe. Just kind of ceased to run there for a second to be able to have a take like this. Like, to have a take like this is just wild. Wild, wild, wild. And of course, a lot of people got upset in the comments, including myself. And he was bemoaning the idea that people are upset for having such a monstrous claim. So yeah, I can totally see what Emma's talking about. Just to kind of circle back to everything, I can totally see what Emma is talking about.
How would the Mormon government treat Dave Rubin? Isn't he LDS, Glenn Beck?
Glenn Beck is LDS, and I think it would be somewhat problematic. Well, certainly. I mean, look, Beck could not countenance the idea that they would have kids together in their marriage, and I think he had to reckon with the idea that that Rubin was married once he.
Is Iran locking up trans people? This seems like projection. No, I think that part is true. That part is true. The prison that was bombed was holding trans people. Over 100 of them got bombed by Israel. So, like, yeah, obviously, like, no one is defending the fact that Iran is locked up a bunch of trans people in prison. The problem that people are having, the other side of this, is that Israel deliberately targeted and bombed this prison that had these 100 plus trans people. So yeah, that the locking up of trans people by the Iranian regime is bad. That is unacceptable. That is disgusting, and it is unspeakable to do that. However, what this person is doing is justifying the bombing and killing of those 100 trans people, which is also incredibly monstrous. You can't be like, oh, Iran locking up minorities like trans people is bad. And then like also say, but you know, they got blown up by Israel. It's okay because, you know, bombing that prison was weakening the regime's security apparatus that locked them up in the first place. They're dead, man. They're dead. They got blown up by Israel with bombs that we supply, with the green light that we give them. Like, Iran didn't kill those people. There are no coincidences in foreign events. But yeah, I mean, like what Emma was saying is 100% true, and that's kind of an example of what that kind of argument looks like, right?
He had kids, and made the mistake of thinking that his audience would actually, like, he could be excited with his audience about his kids.
Was it like a Liberace situation where all of his fans were the last to know?
I get the sense. Yeah, go ahead.
And we have this right in America. Well, you're in Egypt now.
Those videos might have been my favorite videos of the entire year. Because it was like to watch these Western dingbats all show up and they're LARPing as revolutionaries and just have the Egyptians basically spit on them. It's like, doesn't get better than that, actually.
Yeah. It's, you know what, we're going to, if we don't stand together, and we don't find our way to everybody who loves the Constitution, even
which is wild. wild that this guy has the gall, the audacity to talk about the Constitution when these freaks don't care about the Constitution at all. Emily's working on her honeymoon. Respect. 100%. And she doesn't stop. Mad respect. Constitution? What? I bet Israel knew exactly who was in that prison. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. That would not surprise me if they had intelligence of who was in that prison and decided to bomb them anyways, or because of that intelligence. Emma's drunk. That was fun to listen to. Yep.
And if we disagree on some pretty big things, I don't want any guns. Okay, well, there's one out of the 10 we disagree on. We can have that argument, but let's not have that argument right now. Let's.
So let me be very clear with conservatives here. Conservatives don't actually care about the Constitution at all, insofar as it serves them to consolidate power. That's it. That's as far as they go with the Constitution. The moment it doesn't become useful to them to consolidate power, they'll throw it out. They've proven this time and time again, even with their most golden, precious Second Amendment. They'll throw that out the moment it becomes inconvenient. Ask one of these conservatives if trans people should be allowed to have guns. All of a sudden, the trans people, they are mentally ill, so we shouldn't probably give them guns. I know, I've seen these arguments online. You want a actual, a real life example? Ronald Reagan. What happened when the Black Panthers decided to exercise their Second Amendment right? Oh, gun control was all of a sudden, boom. All of a sudden, they absolutely could do gun control. Amazing how that works, huh? By the way, they feel the same way about freedom of speech. They fundamentally don't care about freedom of speech insofar as it helps them consolidate power. Because what they mean is, I want to assert myself over everyone. And if I want to say slurs everywhere and be as bigoted and hateful as possible, it is my free speech right to do so. And you can't stop me. That's as far as they go as far as free speech.
So save the rest of the Constitution.
So please spare me with this Constitution crap.
If we don't come together and hold the gates and the jackals from outside the gates coming in and just eating all of us, we're going to see we're all going to be apart, but we will witness the night of long knives. We will see it in our own life where...
Yeah, so again, this is projection, right? Because in this Orwellian sense, right? Like what he's describing the Republican Party. The Republican Party is the fascist party. Okay? The Republican Party is the fascist party. They're the ones that we have to be afraid of them doing a Kristallnacht. BCAT, welcome. They're the ones that are more liable to do this, or more likely to do this.
But that last sentence from Glenn Beck describes the conservative movement in this country
Yep.
for the last, I don't know, 50, 60 years,
Yep.
maybe more, which is basically they are always told and convinced that there are jackals or barbarians at the gates. Who those barbarians are at the gates, it's different.
Yeah.
It will range from the gays to the trans to the Muslims
Brown
to the
people.
blacks to the feminazis to the Latinos to the brown people to the immigrants, right?
Yep.
The immigrant invasion that we're going through.
Yeah, and that's the big one right now.
They're coming for our second homes up on the Lake Minnehaha up in Minnesota or wherever it was. It's always, there's always someone at the gates. And what is being gated is really just their own sort of like combination of either power or ignorance.
Yeah, I mean, like what they are afraid of, or what they are afraid of is that this diversity, right, of cis people, gay people, trans people, women, people of color, destroys their vision of a white ethno-state. That's what this is about. The idea that this country could have these diverse groups of people. It destroys their project. Destroys their project of a white ethno-state. Unless you're wealthy. Yep. Above all.
That's basically
you
it.
know. Or at least one of the big things is the wealth.
It really is fascinating that they just do this over and over again, and none of the right-wing followers seem to recognize, like, wait a second. It was first they were coming for, Dr. Seuss, or they were coming for...
Yeah, because critical thinking is not something that they have. It's actually very taboo. Critical thinking is taboo when it comes to conservative movements. That's why they keep falling for the same line. Maybe the little details are different, but the plot is the same. The plot is the same. Wealth offers a pass. It does. And again, it's kind of centered with this whole like radical evangelical movement, right? Because I mean, I don't know if you've ever asked important questions to a church member or to a church leader, but they get really uncomfortable when you start asking logical questions, to which they don't have logical responses, and they know that. But the point being is that all this centers around the ability to kind of just turn off critical thinking. That's why this Christian nationalism is such a good tool. It's such a great vehicle for the far right here in this timeline. Like this radical Christian dominionism, this Christo kind of nationalist, Christo-fascist kind of movement. It's perfect.
Christmas, and now they're coming for, they're going to eat the communists after we're going to have communism, and then the Sharia law. I mean, there was 10 years ago, laws being passed in like Iowa
Yep.
to outlaw Sharia law. There's no Sharia law in this country. There's no no-go zones. And all of this stuff is just
Right. And of course, if given the opportunity, these people would absolutely enact Sharia law. I mean, they do, right? Like what happened with Roe v. Wade. So, in fact, given the opportunity, they would do the same.
made up. It's incredible. It's incredible. Dago Lefty. Sam, I'm prior military. I still work for the military. I'm surrounded by prior military who have conversations like Beck and Rubin are having every day. There are times when I just stare at them and say, I just want health care. What the F is wrong with you guys? Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily.
Yep. I've been told our family, our friends don't ask me those questions. Bad Lefty. Globus, welcome. Folks, do me a favor. If you haven't done so, check out Globus_the_elder. Go show him some love. The news be newsin'.
I had heard people say if you vote for this, you're going to get what you voted for. But that's what people say every election.
Well, is it true? When I mean, like, I don't know, man. If people keep warning you for years, right, that Trump is going to do these things, and never mind the people that oppose Trump. Trump is saying that these are the things that he wants to do. That one's kind of on you, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Schmegly, welcome. Just to be clear, like, I don't think that it is good that this guy lost his job. It's just cause and effect, man. Trump told you what he was going to do. It's on you to figure it out, man. You're a grown adult. Trump told you what was going to happen. It wasn't a secret. You could have read about the effects on the policies. You could have gone back and seen how term number 1 went as far as jobs and the economy. What policies were being enacted? How hostile was Trump with labor? That was not a secret. Trump was openly bashing unions on the campaign trail. I get the boy who cried wolf syndrome, but damn, you got to be accountable. Oh, 100%. Like, just, yeah, that is exactly it. Like, I don't want people to lose their jobs. I don't want people to lose their livelihood. This is sad in that sense, but like, at the same time, like, I got no sympathy, man. I don't want this stuff happening to you. I didn't want this stuff happening to you. In fact, I did my part to make sure that that stuff didn't happen to you. Even though, you probably don't feel the same way about us. My dad actually told me he was proud of me the other day. Not sure why he'd say I'm an F-up, but it was nice. Hey, come on.
A catastrophic wave of layoffs is hitting electricians in Maine. It may be a preview of hundreds of thousands of jobs that could be lost nationwide after President Trump and Republicans just repealed billions in clean energy investments.
It was like a light switch got opened, and all of our work just disappeared overnight.
Yeah, you didn't think actions had consequences? Like, what did you think? Did you think this was a game? Did you think he was lying about repealing the green energy initiatives that were undoubtedly going to eliminate jobs? I mean, like, I'm confused here. He said that. He said that he wanted to eliminate the green energy sector, essentially. You didn't need us to tell you that. And they were warned so many times. Yep.
We went to Maine, where a solar boom has already come to an abrupt halt.
I got laid off at the beginning of May. I haven't gotten any calls yet.
I'm on unemployment right now, and in the state of Maine, that's $595 per week, and I pay rent. That's $1,350 a month.
This has nothing to do with our local union or the companies around us getting jobs. It solely comes down to what's happening in our federal government right now.
Yep.
We came here to talk to electricians who voted for Trump.
Yeah, FAFO in the nicest way. Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, just to be clear, like, they completely effed around and are finding out the hard way. I mean, like, the question is, right? The $1 million question is, like, would this be enough? Is this enough to make these people? I'm talking about these specific people. To change course, because that's the $1 million question. It does me no good if you're, talking about how bad things are because of the policies that Trump specifically enacted. But if you still vote Republican, then I have literally like nothing else to say to you. So that's the $1 million question, like whether or not the lesson sunk in is yet to be seen. But yeah, I mean, you actions, consequences. There it is. He said it every day at the Republican convention. They had held signs that said mass deportation. Yeah, and he talked about green energy too, about the green new scam, as he calls it. Not surprised, Quad Bennett. Shocked that it's nearly $600 a week. I was on unemployment back around 08 to 09. It was like $300. Sheesh. It's very hard to have any sympathy for anyone that voted for Trump. Oh, 100%. This is not about having sympathy. You can simultaneously say, I have no sympathy for people who voted for Trump, and also be like, I don't want people losing their jobs and their livelihood and being on the street. That is a net negative on society. The same way I would say I have no sympathy for people who are Trump voters who are losing Medicaid. But the whole point is I also don't want them to lose healthcare. Losing healthcare is horrifying. That shouldn't be happening to anybody. The same goes for people that voted for Trump that are having family, friends being deported. I don't. That shouldn't be happening to anybody. That is horrifying. To lose a family member, to have a family member just get disappeared, is terrifying. That shouldn't be happening to anybody at all. I don't want that happening to people. I don't want people losing their jobs. I don't want people going hungry because they lost SNAP benefits. But the point being is like I don't have to have sympathy for these people. I have empathy because, as it turns out, I am human. And I care for my fellow man. But I'll save the sympathy for people that actually deserve it. That's the difference. The empathy is not lost. That can never go. The empathy, because that's what makes us different. The empathy can't be lost. Sympathy, save your sympathy for the real victims. Save your sympathy for the victims who didn't vote for this. I should say. Right, we want our enemies to get healthcare as well. Yeah, everyone deserves healthcare. Yes. Everyone deserves healthcare. Everyone deserves food. Everyone deserves housing. Everyone deserves to be able to have a roof under their head with food and everything that that makes a living sustainable. Empathy is both a blessing and a curse. Yep. The right sees empathy as weakness. It's sad. Yep. They only empathize with their own, quote, kind. Yeah. Until it happens to them, right? Then they're all like, oh, help us.
Understand, how are they thinking about his agenda now that it's costing them work? We're outside Bangor, Maine, and we're headed to meet an apprentice electrician who's been working steadily for the last several years, but suddenly he finds himself unemployed, and he wants to talk to us about why.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how are you? Sam.
Braden,
Nice
come
to
right
meet
in.
you. Thank you so much.
A good friend of mine in high school, he was 3 grades above me, and whenever I'd go over to his house, he'd have $2,000 guitars, like a $5,000 Marshall amplifier. And I'm like, where are you getting all this money, dude? And he's like, well, I'm an electrician. I'm learning to be an electrician. You should do it too.
Braden House is an apprentice electrician who last year voted for Trump.
After finding out I was having my daughter at 17, I'm like, I need money, and it ain't gonna be spent on guitars and amplifiers. It's gonna be spent on diapers and making a future for this kid.
Does he blame foreigners? We'll see what happens. Everyone deserves Maslow. Yes.
Applied to the apprenticeship and heard back in March of 22, and I started work 3 weeks after I graduated high school. I'm a 17-year-old kid. They're asking me like life experience questions. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I work at a Dunkin' Donuts. My first week, I get in, I get a check for $1,300 for a 40-hour week, and I'm like, yep, this is what I'm doing now. I'm sticking with this. Obviously, you see the arrays of solar panels, and you see underneath it.
Braden took me to one of the 8 solar projects he has helped build over the last several years.
Nothing beats like just before August, like May to June in a solar field. I remember being on a solar field one day, and I get an email of my Lincoln Financial account. I'm like, holy shit, I've only been doing this for a year and a half, and I have $3,000 in my retirement account.
Why do you think the work was so steady?
Because there were so many solar projects. You can't go anywhere in this state without seeing a solar field.
Now let's put on our thinking caps here. let's put on our thinking beanies over here, okay? Now, how did those solar projects get funded? How did those solar projects get subsidized? Does he blame trans people? Unclear. Amazing. Trump wants to reindustrialize America, and yet trade people are out of work. Yep, because maybe it's not about that. I wonder what happened to the solar projects. Yeah, how did... Let's think about it for a second. Number one, how did they even get to be? And number two, like now, why all of a sudden are they being taken away? Does he know solar is green? Probably. I don't know.
Or multiple.
It kept every electrician in our local union employed.
Scott Cuddy is a longtime electrician out of the same union local as Braden. He told me that until recently, there were so few jobs for electricians that they had to take across-the-board pay cuts to get work.
We had 0 solar projects going on for years and years and years. Guys were traveling to other jurisdictions to go work on solar projects.
That started to change in 2022.
President Biden's signing of the inflation...
Well, I'll be damned. A government policy, not a Republican policy, provided the subsidies that made those solar projects a thing. Does he blame total eclipses? You know, I hate that that's an actual quote from the President of the United States. True, Surly Barber.
Reduction Act today comes after more than a year of negotiations among Democrats in Congress.
The Inflation Reduction Act was the largest federal investment in clean energy jobs in American history. It provided tax credits that encouraged business to build renewable projects like solar, wind, and battery storage. And as those projects multiplied, the landscape for skilled trades workers transformed.
The rate for a union electrician is currently about $39 an hour. In 2020, we were at about $29, $30 an hour. So we have seen an enormous increase in the wages for the people doing the work, and that's because when you have work to do, you get bargaining power.
They were so desperate for people, they'd raise the amount of money they'd pay you per hour to get you there, and it was competitive. Companies were competing on how much they would pay their guys to get the amount of guys that they needed to finish these solar fields. Solar, it fed my family. You know, solar lined my pockets, and it gave me work for years.
Take me through your thinking. What was your thinking when you decided to vote for Trump?
Yeah, please. This is what I'm here for. Please let me see the rationale here. I need to see this. Wolfglen, welcome. Be a plumber, HVAC. You'll always have work. True. Oh, you got me with this one, Bad Lefty. I don't know that song. All right, give it to me. What's the reason?
I voted for Trump. My big thing was I agreed with his stance on immigration.
Chat's right. Somebody said foreigners. Who said it? It was Bad Lefty. Foreigners. There you go. Bad Lefty called it. Literally threw away his job security. Okay, literally threw away his job security because brown people. Bonnie Tyler. No, that sounds familiar. Corelia, welcome. Not letting a robot fix my hot water heater. Yeah, that's that's something that we're that is yeah. I don't think that robots are gonna replace some of those. I mean, like, maybe you can have like robot helpers, like machines that can assist a plumber or an HVAC. But yeah, that's apparently now, because I have no idea. I've never heard of Bonnie Tyler. Song was supposed to go to Meatloaf. Interesting.
I agreed with his idea of no tax on tips. No.
With his idea of no tax, sir. Do you get tips? I'm confused. Do you get tips? Also, did you even bother reading that part? You're not getting any tax deductions on that either, because they have to be cash tips.
No tax on overtime. I liked his stance on no new wars.
Which is wild, because that is not even true. Not even in his first term, that wasn't true. And 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Heat, how's it going? Does this guy buy a beachfront house in Nebraska too? My brother thankfully can't vote because he's a felon or some shit. Was excited about no tax on OT. I didn't even try explaining it to him. Yeesh. Yeah, no new wars, except, you know, literally one of the first things that happened is Israel decided to go to war with Iran. To which, by the way, it is still unclear how long or if that ceasefire is going to last.
And now we're seeing the exact opposite happen.
Oh man, damn, dude. What? A career con man? A career con man lied, and the exact opposite of what he claimed he was talking about is happening? Wow, dude. There isn't like, if only there wasn't like a entire resume that we can point to, right? A library of lies. If only there was a library of lies and cons and fraud that we can point to, that maybe would have given us a second thought here about what the credibility of this orange man, the claims that this orange man is saying. Sharpie, everyone in my work group except for my counterpart, is exhausting. Yep. Major ice raids in California farms. Jeez. Great pause game. I didn't even mean that, but that's hilarious. Oh my god, a pathological liar lied to me, poisoned my eyes. America's shooting itself in the hand. Yeah, America shooting itself in the foot, and then in anger shooting itself in the other foot, and in anger shooting itself in the hand, and then blaming immigrants for it, as they're the ones holding the gun. Yeah, that's what this is. 100% heat. A damn weed farm? Really? I've heard so many Trumpers try to explain why the BBB was good to people who actually read the bill, and it's so tragic. They always try to change the subject. You can hear the Fox News points. Yep. Yeah, I mean, ask any Trumper where they got their information. You'll start seeing that it's all coming from the same place. It's actually a fascinating experiment to do. Should you have the patience or want to talk to any of these Trump people, ask them where they got that. Whatever talking point they're espousing with, ask them where they got it. Where'd you hear that? Who said that number? Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that statistic? American switched to an elephant gun before the foot shooting. Yep. Gonna get my Switch real quick. I came up in a production meeting, told the guys we would be happy to recommend fact-based news outlets. Nice. Hopefully they'll oblige.
The immigration thing and Palestine were two of the biggest things that turned people off to the Biden administration and to the potential Harris administration. At least in who I've spoken to.
Well, yeah, because both Harris and Trump, which you voted for, were completely okay with the genocide that was happening in Palestine.
On job sites.
What was your reaction when Trump was elected?
I was not surprised.
But were you happy? I mean, you voted for Trump.
Yeah, I was pretty happy. Happy's not the right word. I was indifferent. I was more...
Yeah, I was happy that the brown... I mean, it was indifferent, Oh, man, now that all the chickens are coming home to roost. Oof. How do we square that circle? Indifferent. Yeah, I was indifferent, Happy that the brown people... I mean, indifferent.
Great. The better...
The better of two evils. Yeah. That is fantastic. Palestine did not see that coming. Yeah, I mean, he probably for the wrong reasons, but yeah.
Two evils. Let's hope nothing goes bad.
Let's hope nothing goes bad, Let's hope nothing goes bad, even though you were repeatedly warned. And again, you didn't even need the left to tell you this. Trump was telling you this. Trump told you what he was going to do, and you still decided that somehow the conclusion here. Just to be clear, the first thing that he mentioned was immigration. That is the first thing that he mentioned. Just so we're clear. Wow, this guy's no decision-making skills. Yep.
And then now it's going bad.
Oh, now it's going
Since
bad,
January,
man. You mean
$14 billion?
You mean it's going bad for you? What you're really saying, it's going bad for me, and that's a problem.
$1 billion of renewable energy projects.
Because the question would be, if there was a scenario where, let's say Trump didn't do the policies that he did that directly affected him, would he still be okay, and would he still be happy as he let it slip there at the beginning? Would he still be okay with what's happening? Because that's the question. I'm seeing a pattern here. He just straight up doesn't like brown-skinned people.
Have been canceled or put on hold across the U.S.
Like, he's only mad because this is affecting him. So again, like, the $1 million question is like whether or not there's actually going to be a change of behavior here. Because otherwise, I don't give a shit. It does me no good. It does me no good if you're here, sobbing about how you lost your livelihood, which again should not have happened. Okay, I don't want anybody losing their livelihood, their job, especially someone who has a family, a kid. But like, let's be so for real, man. These are the consequences of your actions because you couldn't think past the brown people have to go. I wonder how that conversation's going to go when your kid grows up and develops critical thinking. Like, hey, Dad, during the Trump era, when things went super bad and people were disappeared, there's concentration camps in the middle of a swamp. What did you do, Dad? Oof. No hate, but I really don't feel safe around people who think what they're doing is okay. Like, I don't want you near me. Oh, 100%. I understand that. Good thing I work from home. Yep. I just remember what happened after Reagan and never forgot. Oh, Ballerina. Ballerina, if you like the John Wick series, that is a it looks really cool. I've made it to John Wick 3, I think, so far. I'm missing a couple of movies,
including 3 big solar and battery developments in Maine.
The February union meeting of this year, of 2025, the business manager during his report said, guys, I can chart out full employment to mid-2027 right now. At the March union meeting, he said, we're going to be looking at 50% unemployment this summer. It went from, I can see full work, get your strength back so you can get back out on the job for the next thing, till 2027, to we will be at 50% unemployment this year. The uncertainty has devastated the construction industry in Maine. I think an important point in this is the tax credits aren't even gone yet.
A week after this conversation, Republicans in Congress passed Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill.
Look at these clowns. Look at this. It's the full circus. Norman Reedus is in that? Really? I wonder if soldiers are patrolling Alligator Alcatraz with gators on leashes, kind of like Crocmaster from G.I. Joe. Yeah, exactly. I hope the gators turn on them. I see that and I clutch my wallet. It's so big, so beautiful. Nobody has ever seen a bill like this. Widest picture ever.
Drastically scaling back investments in solar and wind. The bill rapidly phases out the Inflation Reduction Act's clean energy investments, preserving funding only for projects up and running in the next 18 months. That will likely derail hundreds of billions of dollars of planned construction and eliminate hundreds of thousands of jobs. When did you realize this would affect you?
It really hit me about 2 weeks into my layoff.
Aw, damn, dude. Wow.
Because At first, it was like, yeah, these layoffs should only last 1 or 2 weeks. And then the 4th week came around, and that's when it really hit me that we might be in for no work for a while.
Yeah? You think? Yeah? You think? Are we getting it? Has it sunk in yet? Has the play worked out? Because it sounds to me like it hasn't. Maybe we should maybe think about the decisions that we make, and perhaps not trust the word, not just of politicians, but of someone like Trump. Because it's one thing, like, look, I get it, man. I get it. Politicians lie all the time, okay? I get that. But we're dealing with someone who has a track record of being a fraudster, a con man, a pathological liar. Like, we're talking, and then selling you the idea that he's also the solution to everything. Like, come on, man. Maybe we should just kind of step back and have some critical thinking in the decisions that we make. And maybe, perhaps, look inward and say, maybe, as, you know what? I played this clip at the beginning of the stream, but I should have probably played it at this point, because it's so relevant.
But how can I trust?
Dude got played, Yep. They stopped teaching critical thinking 25 years ago. Trump delivered the package that this guy ordered. I struggle to sympathize. No, we're not asking to sympathize. We're not asking to sympathize. Not at all. Again, I don't want this guy losing his job. I don't want people on the street. I don't want people, struggling and wondering how they're going to feed their children. Okay? The child that he has didn't ask for this. But yeah, I'm definitely not asking you to sympathize for him, but it's a matter of, like, we have to have we have to have a reckoning, because this can't continue. This is not sustainable. So in conclusion, I'll let Meowth from Pokemon take it from here, in honor of the voice actor who has passed. I played it at the beginning, but I feel like this probably is more relevant after this segment.
But how can I trust you? You was born different. I almost made a clawful mistake. But how do I know you're not gonna pull a fast one on me? You're right. We do have a lot in common. The same earth, the same air, the same sky. Maybe if we started looking at what's the same instead of always looking at what's different, well, who knows?
As you guys probably heard, Zoran Mamdani.
Just a thought. Waxing philosophical, welcome. Kick the ball, Charlie Brown. I try to be sympathetic towards people in hard times, but it's a challenge with Trump voters that have buyer's remorse. Well, no, I mean, like, you can empathize with them, right? Because they're human beings, and you as a human being would want people to be fed, would want people to have housing, would want people to have healthcare, but you can also say that you can also save the sympathy for the victims who didn't want this to go down. So yeah, I completely understand. Like, we're we're not asking for people to be sympathetic. We're asking for, first of all, like as the as the left, like we are and should be empathetic towards our human beings, fellow human beings, because they're human. They're human beings just like we are, and we wouldn't want anyone to go without these things, right? What's that Tupac quote? Was it Tupac? Here's the best way I can kind of summarize it. What is it? They may be my enemy. What is it? I don't want them. They don't have to eat at my table. But just because they're my enemy doesn't mean I don't want them to eat. Does that make sense? Yeah, weeks too late. Maybe this is what it takes to wake certain people up. It might. It's just... I don't know if it's just the cynicism in me. I just don't know. Like, did he learn the lesson here? Did he learn the lesson here? It's unclear. Do I hope that maybe this opens that this opens people's eyes, that maybe, as he said, the first thing that came to his mind is like, oh, I agree with him on immigration. Well, maybe your xenophobia maybe your xenophobia can be tabled for a minute. Can we put the xenophobia on the back burner here and think about your children? Think about your child? The propaganda never stops, and now with AI, I don't see how people even have a chance. I mean, that's kind of our job, right? We have to keep fighting the good fight. That's kind of our job here in the digital front. Not just in the real world too, but on the propaganda side, we have to be there too. Our propaganda has to be. We can't back off. We have to be there, omnipresent, as I would say, constantly providing a counter narrative. Just because we're on the back foot and we're kind of at a massive disadvantage, doesn't mean that we shouldn't keep trying on all these fields, right? Not just on the real world too, but also on the propaganda field. I expect we're about to see a lot more class awakening as conditions get worse and worse. I hope so, and I hope that the class awakening leads to the right conclusion, right? Like, it's not, and I hope that that's the way it goes, and it's kind of our job to try to tip it in that direction. I hope that when people get more and more angry, the conclusion is, holy crap, it's the capital class who have been bleeding us dry, right? Not holy crap, it's the brown people for the umpteenth time, you know? That's the only thing. Like, it's our job to make sure that people reach the right conclusion. Which is, yes, you should be angry. Yes, things are getting bad. You're not crazy. Things are getting bad. Things are only going to get worse. But the problem here is the capital class. Not not Jose, you know, in picking vegetables. Counter propaganda does work. A lie can travel half around. A lie can travel halfway around the world, but the truth is putting on its shoes. Unfortunately, yep, lying. OP. How do you get folks to look up on over? How do you get folks to look up, not over? You gotta be there. You gotta be there. As Sharpie Diesel says, yes, it's like people like Zoran Mandani who are opening the door for these conversations to happen. We've got to capitalize on that. When people are asking like, what's going on? Like, why does my life suck? Why are things so freaking bad? Instead of leaving that to the right, because the right wing will give them an answer. They will give them an answer. They'll say it's the brown people, it's the excuse me, it's the trans people, it's the gays. We can't leave that void. We have to keep it. As someone put, it may be impossible odds, but or rather, I would say, and I would push a little back, not necessarily impossible, but incredibly stacked odds. But not impossible. So therefore, we should keep going. We need to be there to provide that answer 24/7, constantly. We need to provide that answer. Sadly, it presents the conservative agenda more intelligently than Laura Ingraham or Jesse Waters. To a degree, yeah. Be willing to have awkward conversations with people in grocery store lines or at gas pumps. Don't stop talking about what the real problems are. 100% at any point that you are able to. And you feel safe to. Do it. If you can't, if it's difficult to have one-to-one conversations, post online. I mean, like, it doesn't have to be political. It could be through art. Or rather, like, it doesn't have to be in a political, art is political, but the point being is that it doesn't have to be in a political setting, like, for example, a politics show. It can be through art. You can express your politics through art and get the message out through art, through music, through just random posts on Twitter, whatever. The point being is you have to be there. It's up to all of us. You know, in whichever way we can. Sometimes maybe the best thing that we can do is just talk to family members. You change one person, you cause a snowball effect. Maybe that's your role to play. Maybe your role is to help perhaps pull a family member out who wants to be pulled out of the cult. The rise of AI frightens me more than Trump, if I'm being honest. It's difficult to be pointedly anti-racist online because platforms will literally strike you for racism if you say if you say the word cracker to a person. Yeah, I get that, but like there are ways. There are ways. There are ways, and even if, like, I mean, clearly, there are ways of expressing, you know, the problems with the white supremacy, and the problems with white nationalism that is taking over, without getting immediately clapped, right? Damn you, Twitch. Right. You know? Trump will be gone in a few years. AI is here for the long haul. Yeah, I mean, the problem with AI is, I'll just summarize, like, we don't need to have, like, an entire discussion, but, like, the problem with AI is, like, is not necessarily, like, the tool, because the tool could, in theory, be an incredibly useful tool. But the problem with AI, or what people perceive in colloquial language as AI, is really capitalism. That's the problem. Would it be nice if we had some kind of tool that can help us, like, sort information out and, like, just kind of consent? You know, great, that's awesome. But, like, is it cool that we have that we are using these systems to abuse artists? No, that's not cool. Is it cool that we are using these systems to abuse, you know, and screw over working class people? No, it's not. That's not okay. Fascists always have an advantage with censorship because they've always used coded language. True. It's kind of baked in, right? You kind of can't go like, hey, I want to genocide this other group that we've deemed others, because that doesn't really go well if you lead with that. So yeah, fascists have kind of had this entire language school down to a science, right? And it's kind of important for fascists to have these language games, to be able to hide their true ideology. Neon Gyat, so many ways to come in from the side or a different angle, meet them where they are. Maybe they like to hunt or fish, protecting regulating forests and watersheds for citizens use might get through. I mean, like, it may be depending for people. It may be depending for people, but yeah, if you find that angle and there is a willingness for someone to escape the death cult, then yeah, you should exploit that. And by exploiting, I mean hammer at that chip and pull that person out, if possible, especially if there's someone that you know, because maybe you do know something personal about them that could help, assuming they're willing to leave the cult. The problem with AI is if it ever passes the Turing test. iRobot, a good movie, by the way. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I haven't seen it in a million years, but when that movie came out, that was pretty cool to me. I just feel like I'm seeing AI content all over the place after Trump took office, almost like AI content created by AI. I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, the technology has advanced to the point where there's just AI everywhere. What we colloquially think of as AI. Will Smith is rapping again. Did you hear? It's bad. Oof. No, I did not. It is AI. Okay. YouTube Shorts is at least 30% AI created content. We need to have a talk about AI at some point. Because I might just be yapping I might just be yapping into the mic when we actually have someone who knows what they're talking about in chat. Instagram is sending me targeted ads that a curated feed by AI is the best feed. Will Smith's new song sure does not slap. How ironic. Hold on, I finally got something for that. Real true AI is the biggest danger to mankind. I would love to have a convo with you. Yes, educate me. I'm here to listen. We got to set that up. I'm here to listen. I'm going to Miami. Oof. Godspeed. Bienvenidos a Miami. It's a Smith song. Oof. All kinds of artists and musicians and whatnot losing work. Yeah. Yep. Capitalism ruins everything. All right, let's speed run through all of this because I got to get out of here. Okay, so new update. Do you have a whole soundboard? I have a couple of sound stuff set up. But I do need to add more. I'll reach out to you on Discord. Heck yeah. So I have my claps, my applauses. I have my we have this one. We have this one. That's the new one. The danger that I see is that people are outsourcing their curiosity and creativity to AI. Outside of the box thinking requires being able to recognize you are in a box, which AI cannot help others do. Yeah, 100%. That is a concern. John Lithium. All right, let's speed run through this. Federal judge issues new nationwide block against Trump's order seeking to end birthright citizenship. So after the Supreme Court made this decision, they had to do a new ruling, which is now in place. A nationwide block against President Trump's executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship. Now, unless this is challenged, this is how it's going to be. So, Nats. The ruling from the court, U.S. District Judge LaPont, is significant because the Supreme Court last month curbed the power of the lower court judges to issue nationwide injunctions while keeping the ability intact of plaintiffs to seek a widespread block of the order through class action lawsuits, which is what happened. So that is what is going on right now. That is good. That is a good thing. This is a good thing. Clearly unconstitutional. Without a doubt. I was working late, so I missed most of the stream. It's all good. It's all good. I guess we'll go with more good news. Or maybe possible good news. I don't know. Mahmoud Khalil has filed a $20 million lawsuit against the Trump administration. I hope it goes through. I hope he gets every penny of that. True. Well, on a recent afternoon, Mahmoud Khalil sat in his Manhattan apartment, cradling his 10-week-old son as he thought back to pre-dawn hours spent pacing a frigid immigration jail in Louisiana, awaiting the news of his child's birth in New York. For a moment, the outspoken Palestinian activist found himself uncharacteristically speechless. I cannot describe the pain of that night, Khalil said, finally gazing down as baby Dean cooed in his arms. Is something I will never forgive. Now, weeks after regaining his freedom, Khalil is seeking restitution. On Thursday, his lawyers filed a claim for $20 million in damages against the Trump administration, alleging Khalil was falsely imprisoned, maliciously prosecuted, and smeared as an anti-Semite as the government sought to deport him over his prominent role in campus protests. The filing, a precursor to a lawsuit under the Federal Tort Claims Act, names the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Immigration and Customs, and the State Department. It comes as a deportation case against Khalil. A 30-year-old recent graduate student at Columbia University continues to wind its way through the immigration court system. The goal, Khalil said, is to send a message that he won't be intimidated into silence. They are abusing their power because they think they are untouchable. Unless they feel some kind of there's some sort of accountability, it will continue to go unchecked. True. If the Proud Boys can get paid, he should get paid. True. Khalil said that he plans to share any settlement money with with others targeted in Trump's failed efforts to suppress pro-Palestinian speech. In lieu of a settlement, he would accept an official apology and changes to the administration's deportation policies. A White House spokesperson deferred the comment to the State Department, which said its actions were fully supported by the law. An emailed statement, Tricia McLaughlin, the spokesperson for DHS, called Khalil's claim absurd, accusing him of hateful behavior and rhetoric that threatened Jewish students. Yeah, no. The filing accuses President Trump and other officials of mounting, would this be is this the same party that is like, oh, you can't prevent Nazis from Sieg Heiling and parading in public because free speech, but also if this brown dude says genocide is bad, then obviously his speech should be silenced because of, quote, hateful behavior rhetoric that threatened Jewish students. I mean, let's be so for real right now. Come on. Yeah, complete BS. Based AF, 100%. I hope he gets every penny. The filing accuses President Trump and other officials of mounting a haphazard and illegal campaign to terrorize him and his family, beginning with Khalil's March 8 arrest. On that night, he said he was returning home from dinner with his wife, Noor Abdallah, when he was effectively kidnapped by plainclothes federal agents who refused to provide a warrant and appeared surprised to learn that he was a legal permanent resident. He was then whisked overnight to an immigration jail in Jena, Louisiana, a remote location that was deliberately concealed from his family and attorneys, according to the filing. Inside, Khalil said he was denied his ulcer medication, forced to sleep under harsh fluorescent lights, and fed nearly inedible food, causing him to lose 15 pounds. I cannot remember a night where I didn't go to sleep hungry. These are concentration camps. See, Kyle. Meanwhile, the Trump administration publicly celebrated the arrest, promising to deport him and others who protested against Israel it dubbed pro-terrorist, anti-Semitic, and anti-American activity. Khalil, who had condemned anti-Semitism before and since his arrest, was not accused of a crime and has not been linked to Hamas or any other terror group. At some point, it becomes like reality TV, he said of the allegations. It's very absurd. A few weeks into his incarceration, Khalil woken by a fellow detainee who pointed excitedly to his face on the jailhouse TV screen. A new memo signed by the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, acknowledged Khalil hadn't broken any laws, but argued that he should be deported for beliefs that undermine U.S. foreign policy interests. i.e. things that I don't agree with. That's why he should be deported. And the thing that I don't agree with is anti-genocide. If protesting genocide is undermining U.S. foreign policy interests, then explain to me what is the U.S. foreign policy interest? I didn't know that, bad lefty. Yep, thought police. My beliefs are not wanting my tax money or tuition going towards investment in weapons and manufacturers for a genocide. It's simple as that. Yep. So if that undermines U.S. foreign policy interests, then what does that tell you about U.S. foreign policy interests? By then, Khalil had become something of a celebrity in the 1,200-person lockup. When not dealing with his own case, he hosted office hours for fellow immigrant detainees, leaning on his past experience working at a British embassy in Beirut to help others organize paperwork to find translators for their case. I'm pretty good at bureaucracy, Khalil said. At night, they played Russian and Mexican card games as Khalil listened to one story after another from people who didn't understand what was happening to them. That's one of the most heartbreaking moments. People on the inside don't know if they have any rights. On June 20th, after 104 days in custody, Khalil was ordered released by a federal judge who found the government's efforts to remove him on foreign policy grounds were likely unconstitutional. He now faces allegations of misrepresenting personal details on his green card application. In a motion filed late Wednesday, attorneys for Khalil described those charges as baseless and retaliatory, urging a judge to dismiss them. The week since his release, Khalil has brought moments of bliss and intense personal anguish. Fearing harassment and possible arrest, he leaves the house less frequently, avoiding large crowds or late-night walks. But he lit up as he remembered watching Dean take his first swim earlier this week. It was not very pleasant for him. I'm trying as much as possible to make up for the time with my son and my wife, as well as thinking about my future and trying to comprehend this new reality. Part of that reality said he'll continue his efforts to advocate against Israel's war in Gaza, which has killed more than 57,000 Palestinians, more than half of them women and children, according to Gaza's health ministry. On the day after his release, he led a march through Manhattan, draped in a Palestinian flag, flanked by security. I gotta bounce, no problem, Kirkenstein monster. As he poured Dean's milk into a bottle, Khalil considered whether he might have done anything different had he known the personal cost to his activism. We could have communicated better, we could have built more bridges with more people, but the core thing of opposing a genocide, I don't think you can do that any differently. This is your moral imperative when you're watching your people be slaughtered by the minute. Yeah, I mean, like, it's kind of it, right? Like, there's nothing to compromise, really. It says everything about the government and the United States' stance and the Trump administration's stance than anything. Whistleblower text suggests Trump's judicial nominee, Emil Bove, urged lawyers to defy court orders. So we're getting more down into the nitty-gritty about what's been going on here with who is doing the defying with regards to the Trump administration. A week before an expected committee vote on the controversial nomination of Trump ally Emil Bove for federal judgeship, CBS News obtained emails and text messages shared with Congress by a whistleblower who accuses Bove of unethical actions while he was a top Justice Department official this year. The message was released on Thursday by Senate Judiciary Committee Democrats who are trying to defeat Bove's nomination for a judicial appointment to the Third Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals. The text message and email messages allegedly offer a new insight into the administration's response to its mistaken deportation, we're going to use that in quotes, of Kilmar Abrego Garcia from Maryland to El Salvador on March 15th. The whistleblower's former Justice Department attorney, Ariz Ravuni, who was fired April 11th after more than 14 years at the agency, when department leadership accused him of presenting an insufficiently vigorous argument on behalf of the Trump administration during Abrego Garcia's court proceedings. Last month, Ravani issued a public statement opposing the nomination of Bove, who is one of Mr. Trump's former criminal defense lawyers. Nope, looks like chat. The chat disappeared there for a second. The text and email messages, which were obtained by Democratic leadership and Senate Judiciary Committee, show Ravini unsuccessfully pressed his colleague and other federal agencies for assistance fulfilling a court order that Abrego Garcia be returned to the U.S. in March. Dozens of email messages also allegedly reveal attempts by the Trump administration officials to label Abrego Garcia leader of MS-13, which Abrego Garcia's lawyers have strongly denied, and downplay the agency's mistake in removing him to El Salvador. Okay, there we go. All right, chat's here. What happened to the rest of them in CCOT? It's unclear, but based on Abrego's first-hand account of what's happening there, it's not great. It's also unclear how many of those are even still alive. Wasn't there a makeup artist in there? Yep. We never left. No, it was just the chat restream application. Is chat enabled? Yep, I see you. Our chat is enabled. Message by Ravani also warned about the legal peril of ignoring court orders. One of the messages in the batch purportedly showed that the Homeland Security official conflated Abrego Garcia's alleged MS-13 membership with membership in Tren de Aragua, a different gang based in Venezuela. Some of the text messages from Ravani include exchanges by Ravani and a Justice Department colleague in which they refer to alleged instructions from Bove to communicate a FU to the court's order that Abrego Garcia and others be returned to El Salvador to U.S. custody after the March 15 deportation flights. One exchanges between the Trump administration officials, including Justice Department officials from the night of March 15th court order to return deportation flights, include a reference to the alleged FU guidance. And you can see here, I waited for Emma's theme today. Guess it's time to find out. Guess it's find out time on the FU. Yep, it was working with you. It was good working with you. Ow! Oh, cat just bit me. The first flight lands in an hour, so says the flight aware. Well, maybe they land and drop off all the Title 8 people. Check your email from DHS. We are likely saved today by the fact that Boasberg is on vacation. The message is emerging 2 weeks after Venny filed a whistleblower complaint alleging that he was threatened, fired, and publicly disparaged after questioning instructions from Bove and other officials to ignore court orders. The Justice Department denied the claim at the time. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche called the allegations utterly false and referred to Ravani as a disgruntled former employee and said at no time did anyone suggest a court order should not be followed. Paquita, sorry, Carlos, I blame you. Yeah. I guess my leg just looked too juicy. The kitty is innocent. You play Pilot Lights today. Okay. Senator Dick Durbin, the top Democrat on the Judiciary Committee, said he sought the text messages and emails. Durbin said senators raised these allegations at Emil Bove's judicial nomination hearing, and he offered only carefully wordsmithed response, so I asked for the documentation from Revani to further substantiate these claims. Text messages, email exchanges, and documents show that the Department of Justice misled a federal court and disregarded a court order. Mr. Bove spearheaded this effort, which demanded attorneys to violate their ethical duty of candor to the court. I mean, so where is the indictments? Why are these people, like, we know they lied. We know they lied to the courts. This is what I don't understand. Like, we know they lied. We have like actual text messages and emails about their plan to defy court orders and how they were going to do it. It's just wild to me. In a statement, Bondi called Revani a disgruntled employee and a leaker, asserting false claims, seeking 5 minutes of fame, conveniently timed just before the confirmation hearing and a committee vote. But like, the information is here. Like, we can all see it. As Mr. Bove testified, and his department has made clear, there was no court order to defy, as we successfully argued to the D.C. District Court, when seeking a stay, when they stayed at Judge Boasberg's lawless order, and no one was ever asked to defy a court order. This is another instance of misinformation being spread to serve a narrative that does not align with facts. This whistleblower signed 3 briefs defending DOJ's position in this matter, and his subsequent revisionist account only arose after he was fired because he violated his ethical duties to the department. I mean, whatever, dude. Don't believe your lying eyes, I guess. Wutam, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Harrison Fields, a White House spokesperson, said Bove is an incredibly talented legal mind and a staunch defender of the U.S. Constitution who will make an excellent circuit court judge. So the exact opposite, we can presume. At a Senate confirmation hearing last month, Bove denied Revani's accusations of any unethical conduct. I've never advised his Department of Justice attorney to violate a court order. He added, I don't think there's any validity to the suggestion that the whistleblower complaint filed yesterday calls into question my qualifications to serve as circuit judge. The committee is expected to hold a hearing on Bove's confirmation on Thursday. So then, like, what is this about? If not you planning to defy a court order. I mean, we can see this is indisputable. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you for your support. Yeah, if any one of us did half of this, we'd be found in contempt of court at the very least. Yep. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for your support. You guys are what makes this channel go. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you to the new YouTube subs. Thank you for the new follows. I appreciate it. If you want to support the channel directly, please check out the merch store. Hit the exclamation mark tip. Join the Discord, Substack, do all the things. If you're on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, all the things. Spread the word, folks. Spread the word. Bring a friend. We're here Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Check us out at This Space on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This Space is a working class media collective. There's something for everyone. Check me out on This Space. There's stuff going on right now on This Space. If you're on YouTube, head on over. Head on over to This Space and check out my show on Tuesdays. Thank you so much, Heat. Thank you, Michael Hasser. Thank you, Mono, for modding the chat. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for being here. Looney Tunes. Thank you all for being here. Go check out This Space for those of you on YouTube and for those of you on Twitch. Please consider checking out and hitting that sub. It's time for me to get out of here, folks. Thank y'all. Oh, I almost forgot, Ladybug. 1 second, folks. Let me prepare that. I almost forgot. Time for waffles. Nice. Pastor Ben is live. You know, how come I never get notifications? How come I never get notifications? I'm like 99% sure that I am following the Benjamin Dixon show. I don't get it. It's not even coming up for me. Oh, on This Space. He's live on this. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Whew, I thought I was tripping. I was like, I don't see it. Because I could send my folks over from Twitch, but I don't... YouTube doesn't have that rate option. YouTube doesn't have that rate option. Which is a good get, to be honest. It is. It is. I mean, Pastor Ben is like one of the... is one of the, like, foundations on This Space. If only YouTube would allow for periodic notifications on longer streams. That would be cool. That would be cool. Like, first of all, if YouTube would only like let notifications actually work, because sometimes they're kind of iffy, that would be great as a first. Definitely, he's a rock, 100%. So go check out This Space and see me in the chat. I'm lurking there. I'm lurking. All right, folks. I got to get out of here. Thank you all for being here. Again, thank you to the mods. Thank you, Heat. Thank you, Michael Hasser. Thank you, Mono, for being here. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one, Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time.
Between the truth, it might take all the strength I got to get to where I want, but I know somehow I'm gonna get there. I wasn't looking when I just got caught between the truth and the light bulb. But finding out won't make me feel any better. Yeah, I know the clock is ticking, but the meds are gonna kick in, and my pilot light shining bright. station where you don't get paid for the road that
Music to prep for this based on Majority Report tomorrow. Heck yeah! Nice!
I guess somehow I lost my drive.
Hang tight, folks. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If Cedar strikes us, I'll be not happy. No, we're good. We're good. See ya!